All right, welcome back everybody to the 2018 Sonic Generations Relay Race. Welcome back everybody to the 2018 Sonic Generations Relay Race. Up next we have Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with TommyeAsY and Drakodan. On commentary I have Piner and Alec K47. And I'm going to go ahead and do the countdown here right away, and our commentators will get you going on the run. All right, so we got 3, 2, 1, and go.
Especially Hero Story. It has a lot of things happening in it. First up, we see City Escape. The first 30 seconds of the run or so won't really look like that much. We'll be going down on the boarding section, doing tricks to go fast. After that, though, we'll hop right into some fast-paced movement, and we'll see a lot of the fundamentals that you'll be seeing throughout the rest of the run, including spin dashing, spin dash chaining, homing attacking, and homing attack canceling. Spin dash is spin dash. Spin dash chain is when you cancel a spin dash and immediately follow it up with another spin dash. This helps maintain your momentum on straightaways and uphill surfaces. Then you have homing attacks, which is a homing attack. And homing attack cancel is a homing attack without the homing part, which is similar to an air dash. We also have a trick. Oh boy! Oh boy! Tommy got it. All right, so this is
nice.
This requires you to be at the right position, left, right, have the right speed value, and jump off of the ramp at the right time. All these things going together allow you to skip about 30 seconds of a level, and it's very fast.
It's not something that there's really a good setup for either. You kind of just have to know what you need to do and hope you get it.
Yeah, there's actually a few setups, but it's very, very, very hard to get it because of the nature of the trick. I've on a good day, I personally have gotten it to 90% on a certain day, although I tend to average around 60. And a lot of people tend to be a lot lower than that. You'll usually see in the community anywhere between like 30 to, and like 10, somewhere in that range. Usually is where it stands. Because it is a very, very intricate trick with a lot to understand, but we still see a very clean skipless City Escape from Draco here. A 155 with a skip attempt is actually incredibly difficult to pull off, just showing his steady gameplay here. And we got Bigfoot. He's got big feet. He also has a big head. You can hit that head, and then he stops working. So you're going to be seeing Tommy jumping on the box, somersaulting to get him a little bit of speed to jump back on the box, and then jumping on the head, and just doing this a few times. And that's the fight. Coming up, we have Knuckles, which is really, really, really intricate. We have RNG, and we need to recognize this RNG by reading the first hint of every piece in the game. We have to memorize them. There are about 100 pieces per stage that we have to memorize. We have to be able to efficiently navigate to these pieces, as well as looking out for pieces that might just be out in the open. All in all, it's a very difficult game to play. And Tommy here is actually at the top of the top in this.
Yeah, this is one of the ways in which you really separate the men from the boys. The ones who are really good at the Knuckles stages, knowing the locations, knowing how to get from one place to another, reading the hints. That's one of the big things that will separate someone who's just good at playing the game to someone who's really good at the run.
Definitely. And even from there, you've got like upper level runners and then upper level knuckle runners, because there is a gap between them. Looks like Tommy did get some pretty good RNG there.
Draco as well.
And a little bit rough here for Draco. You shoot Eggman and he dies. That is all.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Look at him. He's dead. What a nerd. We got Prison Lane. Prison Lane is very much a difficult stage to optimize well. You're going to be seeing a lot of hopping around corners as to try to mitigate loss of speed. So basically, whenever you turn on the ground as Tails, you lose all your speed, if it's a sharp enough turn. And there are a lot of those turns that are very much sharp enough. this in Prison Lane. So you're going to be seeing them hopping around these corners. Unfortunately, being in the air is slower than being on the ground when not turning. So what's going to happen is that you're going to be losing a tiny bit of speed as opposed to losing a big amount of speed. But it's a well worth it trade-off, and optimizing just how little you press the A button in this stage does matter a lot.
And even little things like getting in front of this elevator, you'll see them hopping onto and off of railings to get through areas a little bit quicker. There's a lot of little technical movement that you really have to pay attention to notice. It's not a very flashy stage, but there's a lot that goes into it.
Saw a little bit ago on Tommy's screen there that he, and just there again, is that he targeted an enemy through a wall so he could shoot it early. And that's one of those aforementioned very small optimizations. So here, you know, just kind of finishing up the stage.
And also going back at the very end just to make sure that once you're able to get through the gate, you have a little bit of speed to get to the goal ring. Just that fraction of a second faster. It's a lot of small optimizations at this level.
For sure. Getting a 139 is certainly nothing to scoff at. And Draco coming up on the end as well. Doing that last gate hop there, and then I'll be doing it the same way. Getting a 136. Wowzers, that's good.
Yeah.
Battle Harbor. Oops, sorry.
This is a more flashy stage, definitely. Sonic stages are faster. There's definitely a fair amount that can go wrong here, but it's at least got more consistent light dashing than SatX. There's that to say for it.
At least you don't have to charge it. It'll brutalize you sometimes. It really will. And if anything goes wrong in this stage, you die. It's
Pretty
really
much.
unfortunate. Because the entire stage is over a giant bit of water. And water is lethal to hedgehogs. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can only feed your hedgehog soda. Disclaimer, please don't feed your hedgehog soda. That's probably very dangerous.
Yeah, these games don't really have swimming in them, which is arguably a good thing. Underwater mechanics in the 2D games are not really anyone's favorite thing, so I guess just having it be a death and get it over with is in a way better.
Finishing up with a 126 on Tommy's side, which is a very respectable time. Generally means that there was no real big mistakes. Although I did see at the beginning he missed what's known as underloop. I actually did not pay enough attention on Draco's end to see if he happened to miss that as well.
Yeah, I did not catch that either.
But yeah, definitely no big mistakes there, and an even better time from Draco here, getting a 124. That's fast. This is an infamous cutscene, and I'll use this time because you've all probably heard it before to explain the fact that ranks are based on score and not time. There are score requirements for each rank, and you know that's why they got an E rank.
Yeah, and all emblems runs you do need to get the high rank, so that kind of adds an additional element to things instead of just going fast. But we're here to actually go fast. Sorry.
Well, you have to couple it with efficient enemy going fast. Also, they killed Shadow. We forgot to explain that. We were talking about ranks. Yeah, so basically, you do this thing called storage, which, oh boy, the IL strat from Draco here. Storage is this strat, or mechanic rather, that whenever you press and hold the action button, before you started charging a spin dash and before you've released it, you'll basically have all the properties of a somersault. This means you can go under barriers and also you can damage enemies. We use this on Shadow because his AI doesn't really know how to react to it. And the spin dash at the start there saves a little bit of time as well. Sub 11, really fast. And then
now we're coming up on wall run in a little bit here. We'll see if these guys go for it and if they get it.
Yeah, Draco is definitely clawing his time back. The Green Force is really mean because the collision here is really bad, as it was one of the first stages they made, so it sucks. Oh, an unfortunate death from Tommy there, trying to jump and unfortunately just holding the wrong angle. They're now neck in neck once again.
Yeah.
Ooh, and as you saw there, the level just kind of threw him up. The collision is bad. It can happen in a lot of places. Fortunately, it's not quite as bad as its counterpart in Dark Story, like Jungle, where it can actually kill you, but it definitely is frustrating and loses time of not your own fault, really.
Early 3D games, everyone.
Yeah. Especially early levels of early 3D games. Ooh.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like Tommy is going to be going for a wall run. And Draco opting not to do it, and Tommy getting rocketed into the water. Let's see if he goes for it again or just opts to take it safe. He's going for it again. This time
he gets
he gets it. It's not quite over yet. He still has to perform Moonshot. But, mostly in there. No! He missed Moonshot!
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's a huge waste of time.
Draco with a pretty solid lead now. That's not to say it can't change. There's a lot that can happen here, not just in the randomness of Knuckles stages, but also just in several of the levels and the skips that could go wrong. So this is far from over.
Yep, coming up is Pumpkin Hill. I'd actually say it's the one of the less volatile Knuckles stages in terms of time variance. As you generally do just need to go to one of each mountain. It tends to level out pretty nicely, although there are some exceptions to this.
This place sure feels haunted. There's no time to lose. I have to hurry and find the Master Emerald.
Let's see what Draco's first piece is. Failed the cutscene skip. He gets Under the Chimney as his first piece. There are a lot of pieces in this stage that have very similar names. For instance, Under the Chimney and Under a Chimney are both piece 2s that exist, and one is on Pumpkin Mountain and the other one is on Ghost Train. There's also punctuation differences between certain pieces, and a lot of stuff can really just go wrong if you're not on point with reading what's happening and knowing everything.
Yeah,
pretty decent RNG. I'd say that's about average. Yeah.
It's those little distinctions though that also let you get a lot of pieces with only one hint, as opposed to having to get more.
Yep. Although it looks like Tommy is getting one of those ambiguous hints and getting the worst variation of what could have happened here, as this will put him farther away than the entirety of the rest of the level. A place you can hear the horn is only on Ghost Train, whereas a place where you can hear the horn is both on Ghost Train and Pumpkin. Or not Ghost Train, my bad. Church and Pumpkin. Nice differentiation there. Finishing up with very similar times, entering Mission Street, which is Tails' second action stage, where we're getting the hover. Hover's broken. It lets you go really high because they didn't code it properly. There's a bit of a side effect with how it works, where instead of just slowing down your hover, it'll actually allow you to slow down your transition into descent. So this means that you can get a lot of height that they didn't anticipate. And that'll be used a little bit here to break things. So as you can see here, you're not supposed to get on that weight, but we do it anyways. It's fast and saves a lot of time. And you'll be seeing it even more in Hidden Base. Getting on that weight allows you to make an entire faster cycle, which can potentially save 12 seconds over what you would otherwise get. We'll be seeing if Draco does get it, though, as it is an incredibly tight movement cycle to make, known as Zero Cycle. The reason it's named is
a few seconds.
It was possible, and then we found out it was, so we didn't want to rename First Cycle. Sorry, I feel like I kind of spoke over you there.
No, that's all right. I was just saying it's coming up here in a few seconds. He just got hit by an enemy. So.
I don't think he's going to get it.
No.
You have to play basically perfectly. I think he'll be definitely for sure getting a half cycle, but 0 cycles probably not gonna.
Yeah, this looks.
Oh, he's gonna go for it. He's gonna go for it.
Nice.
And he actually makes it.
Wow.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that, honestly.
Yeah. Usually once you get hit, it's over. But very clean movement otherwise. It just really, really does make up for that. Tommy here, also going for 0 cycle. Barely missing it. That's gonna waste some time. That's very unfortunate.
He was close too.
Mm-hmm.
And Draco extending his lead a little bit here just because of getting the 0 cycle.
That was a little tough.
Yeah, Draco's saying he's 21 seconds behind PB without City Escape skip. He is playing very, very well right now.
Yeah. The RNG has just only been average for him too, which is something notable as well. And then we got Aquatic Mine. A lot of free piece checks you can do at the beginning here in this level, as well as you go up here. It looks like Draco is opting not to take at least 2 free piece checks. And he knows where his first piece is, and I do believe he thinks that will mitigate the chance of a second piece up top rather greatly, and it would. At least compared to some of the other pieces that can spawn. A decent second piece, and we'll be seeing what that leads into, that'll determine the set. That's a pretty okay set, honestly.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing him click out of bounds here. Basically, you fly into the sign, and it's like, hey, you can't grab this, and it shoves you to the side. It just so happens to kind of just shove you ball. Tommy opting to get the behind him hint because he didn't get a ping at the start. Going to take that piece.
Yeah, and not looking like quite as good of a set for Tommy here either.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He got a free piece on the main pillar there.
Okay, never mind. This actually isn't bad.
Yeah, this is a pretty darn decent time. 31, I believe Draco got
really
something very similar.
That really came back at the end with that free piece.
It really did. Yeah, we are in Route 101, so there's drifting. Draco got a 29. Yeah, that's a darn good time. Just very similar for the both of them. RNG has honestly not been too separating thus far. So in this stage you drift. Now you might be wondering, why do you drift? And the answer to that question is actually quite simple, believe it or not. It's because it changes your speed cap from the normal one to the one that is at the speed of the boost that you can see them being, using here. This allows them to move a lot faster throughout the level. You do decelerate if you hit things or go up hills, so it is, optimal to grab certain rings in certain places to make sure that you are always staying as close as you can to that boost speed.
Yeah, and you notice Tommy driving backwards. That doesn't change the way it controls at all. It's just kind of a silly thing that people like to do.
Yeah, these levels were programmed, I think. Basically, you just off-place the model. Ooh, double car hit. That is not good. Hitting cars is really slow.
It's not quite as important to avoid cars necessarily as maintaining optimal drifting, but you do want to avoid them when you can.
Yeah, because it can, depending on where it is, put your speed to basically 0 for an extended period of time. It is really very situational, but overall, not drifting wastes significantly more time than hitting a few cars. Draco finishing up very smoothly here. Oh yeah, by the way, the levels here, they don't count correctly. You can't have an 8 as the last digit. Like, that's not a thing. that happens anywhere in the game except for here. And then the game continues to subtract time from the end because it doesn't count correctly the rest of the time, like visually on the screen currently. And so the time it shows is not necessarily subtracted. It's more a different timer that's actually accurate. So we got hidden base. I mentioned breaking things. Yeah, this level has a lot of it. They basically didn't program walls above where they thought Tails could go. Normal jump. So by hover jumping, as I explained earlier, we can do a lot of breaking. Looks like Draco went for what is known as pole jump, which is a frame perfect trick, and ended up missing it. Requires you to press A on the first frame after you unpause to get up onto the pole. And then from there, you have to make another hover jump that is very, very tight. The reason it requires you to pause is that there's an added side effect to when you pause and press A on the first frame after. And that's that you also get these additional frames that you would normally get just by holding the A button. And those get added to your height to get you something crazy. Break the game even more in two. Nice, making that. That's a good one. That's a hard jump to make.
Looks like Tommy not even going for pole jump. Can't blame him.
Yeah, it only saves 4 seconds over what he's doing now, and it wastes about 2 if he misses it. Even more if what happened to Draco happens to him, where he jumps and ends up falling behind the walls and having to break them down. 114 check though is still very solid, especially considering what happened. Very smooth movement on Draco's part here. Making a good pause hover, and just not enough though.
Yeah, just missing it there.
Yeah, and finishing up with a 147.72. Anything under sub 50 is generally very respectable for this level.
That was easy.
And Tommy's doing pretty well overall too. They're just really been that one unfortunate miss.
Yeah. Definitely the Green Forest alone was what really carved this divide.
Definitely.
Overall, they've been playing pretty equally, although Draco a little bit better. Just showing how consistency can win the game here. And we've got Pyramid Cave. Woo, had a pyramid. This is a stage.
Yeah.
That is a way to describe it. This level is insanely difficult. It is arguably the hardest level in the game, with incredibly difficult movement everywhere, where you can just be losing time and not even knowing it, as well as some tricks and the introduction of the bounce bracelet, which allows you to go really high into the sky and also manipulate gravity. That sounds like a really powerful item, and that's because it is. It also allows you to get a running start much better than you would otherwise by homing attacking as close as you can to the ground. So as you saw there earlier, right after he got it, he went really high over the sky. And that's called a super bounce. And what that is that he basically bounces right before it hits a wall. And that causes them to go really high. What you saw on Tommy's screen is known as a pseudo bounce, and what you saw on Draco's is gravity bounce. Explain the gravity bounce and then the pseudo bounce. Basically, the way that the game determines which direction is down is if you're on a slope, that slope is down. So if you have enough speed, you can maintain that downward in the air. Turns out, bounce bracelets gives us speed in the air, allowing us to do what you saw there. The pseudo bounce is basically just taking advantage of the way that the ball state, the spin dash state, reacts in certain conditions to allow ourselves to get really, really high.
No problem.
These tunnels are incredibly difficult, and a 142, Jesus, that's good. I'd be pretty happy with that, honestly.
Yeah,
I know that Draco can get better times than that, especially considering that all the mistakes he made at the end. Could have gotten like a 134 or something in that time, for sure.
Oh, and Tommy's taking
right.
a death there.
Yeah, failing snake skip is very unfortunate. Pretty decent first piece. We'll see where he goes from here. I think it'll all depend on what piece he gets next, whether or not he'll take the death.
That was very close.
I don't know if he's going to go for it a third time, honestly. Far away, but you can't when you get closer. That is a rough second piece.
There it is.
Draco here. Actually, no, wait, hold on. I was thinking of a different piece. That is my bad. I made the mistake. Realist Chase. Honestly, not a bad set at all. He's going to be doing a clip out here, very similar to the Aquatic Mine clip out that you saw earlier, and he's going to get a sub 50. Wow. Sub 50 is very, very good. Hey, please don't fail this one. Hey, I mean, he got a 136.
Yeah, this is perfect.
That's something of note, despite the fact that quite a few unfortunate things happen throughout that. I mean, it is an insane RNG on Drakodan getting him a
Yeah.
mid 40. That's
What the? A ghost?
the thing.
You know, King Boom Boo. There are a couple variations of quick kill. Either way, we'll see if Draco goes for the more aggressive one.
He did not. That has to be done at the very start of the fight. It saves about 5 seconds, but it's kind of risky. Tommy getting a good first two pieces here with Pattern Shorts and then Angry Guy. Let's see what he gets as his last one. Draco getting very, very rhythmic taps here. You just gotta hold an angle and press the B button at the proper time. And this is a very, very well executed Death Chamber here by Tommy with some good RNG to boot, getting him as well a sub 50.
49.69. Nicely done.
So we see on
Nice
Draco's
bounce.
end, we've got a Golem Super Bounce. So remember Super Bounces? Imagine those, but like 3,000 times harder.
That's
It's the
two
same
of
thing
them now.
happening. But, oh sorry, you were saying?
Oh, he's doing really well. Okay,
Yeah.
that's only 2 that he's messed up. These are really hard.
Yeah, they really are. Getting another one here because Egg Golem is not yet bouncing his head, allowing for a should be a 39. Yeah, 39,
Yeah.
which is an incredibly good time. Just anything that is sub 40 is just something that you really like to see. And we've got Eternal Engine. Recently, there was a new skip found, and that's big. The previous only, way to not have to play most of the stage was on Dreamcast exclusive, which has a lot of other things about it that make it a lot worse overall to play against or play with. So here we're going to be seeing Draco not actually opting to go for it more than once. It actually saves 40 seconds, so you can mess it up 5 times and still save time over what Draco's doing now. As long as you get it with, well, I guess actually you can mess it up 4 times. 6th try is when it breaks. It is known by many names within the community. And Tommy getting an insane A Golem himself. Jesus,
Wow.
this is gonna be a sub 30, isn't it?
Almost.
Oh, almost. 30.5. Jesus, man.
And he
That's
definitely has,
speedy.
and as you just mentioned, he definitely has a good chance to make up a significant amount of time in EE.
Yep, I know Tommy has been going really hard on this skip lately, as it has been something he has struggled with in the past. We're seeing how he goes, and that is the old Eternal Engine skip. You're seeing Draco do here, and he's just gonna fly his way to the goal ring. Now let's see if Tommy even goes for it. He's going for it. Is he gonna get it? Oh, first try clip out! First try clip out! Oh, this is
Oh
like...
man.
So you're going to be seeing Draco getting around a 2-minute time here. We might be seeing Tommy getting about a 120. That's going to level the playing field quite a bit. So I'm gonna do this thing where I try to predict what, based on the first two pieces, what the third piece will be for our runners here. We'll be seeing if I can do that for Draco here. No guarantees though. It's a little bit of a fun thing you can do to mix up Meteor Herd, which overall is a rather non-interesting stage. Mostly just going up and down. Hopefully you don't have to go all the way up and then all the way down. Looks like Tommy's very far to the left. I'm not going to be able to predict these. The shortcut rocket on the right is a rather darn good first piece, though. Floating stone. Oh no! That is actually just. That's just mean. That's just mean. This is arguably. Oh no!
Yeah. Tommy died at the basically just the very end.
That's so rough. It's gonna lose him a lot of time. Arguably, floating stone is the worst piece in the stage. Actually, definitely in the stage. Arguably the worst in the game. Or at least Hero Story. And it's a pretty good contest between that and Minecart Dumping Area. Looks like Tommy going for the skip again, missing it twice, and having to take the death to respawn the boxes. The run isn't over yet, though. We still have Crazy Gadget, and it's a level with a very hard trick.
Yeah, it's very possible for someone to just get walled by CGSS and spend way too much time there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard for Tommy to come back from this, but it's not impossible.
Definitely.
Now he's having trouble with the clip. He just got it so quickly the first time. Okay, now he's got it again, but definitely losing a lot of time here.
Yeah. Looks like finishing up Rouge. Rouge basically just as passive if after you hit her, you're in the air. So by staying in the air as much as possible, she just kind of won't do anything. That's what you saw Draco do there. So we have CGSS, and Draco has 7 lives, and he will have 8. It means he'll have 9 tries to perform it before he game overs. And CGSS stands for Crazy Gadget Skip Skip. And we basically wiggle our way between 2 kill planes, incredibly precise joystick movement, and then we fall our way to the end, which requires us to milk the distance as much as we possibly can. And I do believe he will be going for it.
Yep.
This is definitely something he's been adding to his runs as of late, and it looks like he got out of bounds first try here. Wow.
This is at least going to be close.
Yep. Tommy finishing up the level here.
Got it.
Oh, nice. And as you can see them falling into the go ring on different stages at the same time.
Huh. No problem.
That's really unfortunate, though, for what happened to Tommy.
Yeah,
We'll be coming up on Eggman, too.
This would have been a much closer race if not for him dying at the end of Eternal Engine.
Definitely. Yeah, and this is a very hard fight in which you kind of have to, like, dance with Eggman here. To kind of get the optimal thing to kind of go on.
15 flat. I know Draco prefers the 14s, but that's still solid.
Yep. He has a star between 3 arches. This will either be surrounded by spinner containers as a third piece, or center of the square shadow, and it was surrounded by spinner containers. Which is unfortunately the significantly worse one of the two, meaning that he's going to be getting really bad Meteor Herd just to rub salt in the wound. This is FR skip, going for the bounceless variation, which is slightly slower, but it gives you a lot more leeway with the height than the bounce variation does.
Yeah, I know Draco just prefers bounceless.
Yeah. It really isn't enough of a difference in time to really fuss about, so it is, in the end, a matter of preference.
Yeah, he was talking a few of us through the skip at SGDQ. He was kind of showing the bounced version as well and why it's less consistent.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you can get it 100% consistent, but I'd say bounceless is a lot more beginner friendly and a lot more room for error, I guess, if that makes sense. Because inherently they're both consistent, but one is just more forgiving, I guess, would be the best way I can phrase that.
Yeah, I would say so.
And there we are.
Yes!
We beat the level, and Tommy beat Rouge. Getting a very low 15. Very good time. Very good time.
No problem.
So, yeah, we've got Draco coming up on Shadow 2, which is the final boss of the run. And, we have Tommy going to the end of Crazy Gadget to be, well, the end, quote unquote, being where you do the skip.
Yeah.
We're likely going to be seeing him go for CGSS here.
Yeah, looks like he's setting it up right now. Out of bounds first try as well.
Yeah, much closer to the kill planes. He did end up dying though on the second kill plane. He got past the first one though. This is it basically just requires different joystick angles here, and it looks like a really rough Shadow too. He died on the second kill plane again. Game overing, that's rough. Yeah, what happened with Shadow 2 there is he just kind of Draco messed up the rhythm there. Which unfortunately just kind of did him in.
Still a very solid run. Looks like 36 in real time. And yeah, you're not going to turn down to 36 in an event like this.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's a 36 is very respectable. It's
All right, Tommy's past the kill planes now.
yeah,
I just
actually
go over it.
it's a low 36, which I think that might even be a top 10.
Oh man,
What's his IGT? 2506.
Tommy's saving the CGSS attempt right at the very end there.
Nice, that was clutch. 8505 IGT.
And Tommy's coming up close to the end here, correct?
Yeah, he's entering Eggman 2, which will then go into Final Rush.
Okay.
Eggman, Final Rush, and then Shadow 2.
Yep. And that was a 2505. It's actually not quite as high on the leaderboard as I thought it was, but it is a top 20 time by far. By far, I mean by 2 seconds.
Okay, so we're gonna let Tommy finish here. We are behind schedule just a little bit. Most of that is not the runner's fault at all. It's my fault specifically. So we're gonna let Tommy finish out his run here and get set up for the next game soon after.
That's Sonic Generations, if I'm not mistaken.
Next run is Forces, actually.
Oh, it's Forces. Okay. It's both are very, very interesting speed runs, and look forward to Forces. It is an interesting game, to say the least. Seeing
Tommy
Tommy
skip here.
Yep. Just fallen to the end.
Yeah, it looks like he's in decent position here. We'll see in a second, though. It's not over yet. Yeah, this should be enough height, definitely.
No, we're booking questions.
Yeah, this should be enough height. He's past the kill planes, just has to get to the goal ring. He's past the kill planes, just has to get to the goal ring.
You can do it. And there he is. He's fallen.
Yep, that's
More than enough height. And there he is.
He might hit the invisible wall behind.
More than
the
enough
goal,
height.
He'll still make it.
Yep. The invisible wall is definitely something that can trip you up the first few times you see it, but once you've gotten used to it.
It's now just the final boss, and then we'll be on the forces.
Shadow than I did, because that was. Ooh. Nope. Don't want to do that.
Looks like he's got that rhythm. Oh, missing a little bit, doing some bounces as the backup strat here. And
16,
finishing off
60.
Shadow there. Oh, still a 16.
Yeah, GG to Tommy, GG Draco.
Yeah, thank you guys
Yep.
very much.
Thank you
What a
both.
showing by both runners here. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like a roller coaster.
Did it.
It really was.
All right, so up next we have Sonic Forces. And as always, we had TommyeAsY and Drakodan as the runners, Piner as the commentator, along with Alex A47. We're going to cut over to the music, get Sonic Forces set up, and we'll be right